What do you think is something that you wish you were taught before you became a classroom teacher?
Communication, and to put your words together in a way that doesn't offend other parents or, may not be sensitive to what they may understand or what you may say to them. So,
because you asked me, other people probably have this same question. Like, how do I communicate with parents, especially new teachers? Coming out of college, not knowing exactly how to get their words out, or like you said, not offend people, be politically correct, or whatever it is. I sat back and asked myself, all right, how do I answer parents? And can I put that in a framework that I can teach somebody else? Here's how I answer parents.
The first one is actively listen, and I feel like that's to read to understand their main concern. Approach with empathy. Address the problem is the third one. Answer the questions is the fourth one, and anticipate the response is the last one.
It's our 5 A's. What would you say to your first year teacher self?
I would say,
welcome back to New Teacher Big Impact, where we help new teachers make a big impact on student outcomes without sacrificing their uniqueness. And today I have with me Miss Yolanda Young, who is one of my coworkers, but like killing it in first grade, doing just a fantastic job. Honestly, one of my favorite coworkers, one of the best first grade teachers we have. Definitely top four. Definitely top four out of the 4 that we have. But doing an awesome job. Like literally every time I walk in her classroom, they just filled with joy, and students are excited and happy and learning. And I think that's really huge because of you. Like I feel like they take on your personality. And every time I come in here, it's just a warm welcome. That's why I came down here, because I was like, normally I do the interviews in my classroom. I'm sorry, in my office.
in your office.
Yeah,
Yes.
But I was like, no, let's come down to the actual, this is your spot. Let me bring my camera and let's get it started. So appreciate you for inviting me, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right.
More than welcome to be here.
You're more than welcome to be here. Okay. All right, but so you've been here for like 2 years. Now this is your second year here.
Yes.
Right? But you came from New York.
Yes, I have.
Shout out. So did I. But tell me more about that you're getting into. Was this your first time being the lead teacher in the classroom?
No, I came from a preschool. Well, first elementary, yes.
So this is your first time being an elementary school lead teacher. You did preschool right before you came here?
Yes.
Okay. In New York?
No, New York, I was from preschool all the way to age 21. So it was special education. That's why.
That's why they were all in the same facility?
Yes. Sometimes they had it with different corporations, different type of eye doctors, because it was for the blind.
Oh, come on. You going too fast. You said you were
That's
from preschool.
where I started.
Okay, all right, hold on. So tell me what you did before you came here.
Literally before I came here, I was at a preschool. Before then, I was at a Montessori school. That was my first.
To 21? For
Pre-K.
blind special ed?
No, in New York City.
Okay.
Special education. But in North Carolina, before here, it was a preschool. And then before that, it was another preschool for Montessori.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right, so tell me about New York. What was that like? That just sounds awesome. Like pre-K to 21.
Yes.
You said blind and special ed?
With multiple disabilities.
But you like that though, right?
Yes, I do.
Like, what was that role like?
So that was my first experience. I did an internship when I was back getting my associate's degree in human services. And we were placed inside of different facilities that had children or adults with special conditions or different types of disorders and stuff like that. So I was always into it because psychology, we were learning about a whole bunch of abnormal behaviors and conditions. So when they placed me at a school, and the children were blind and visually impaired, and they also had multiple disabilities along with that.
They placed you there, or you wanted to be there?
They placed me there when I broke it down to, I wanted to work with children, I wanted to work in a school setting, it was something else that I put on a list, but when I broke down that list, they gave me that school. Okay. And I interned there for a year.
You said after you got your associates?
Wow.
They made you, that was part of the requirements to graduate?
Yes.
Okay.
We had to do an internship for one of my classes.
You knew that you wanted to eventually teach, or that time?
I wanted to be in social work, but then I kind of got the gist of what social work takes. So then when I got in there, I'm like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Because I wanted to be with the children.
Oh,
but social work is usually like with the parents.
Okay.
I want to be with the children, one-to-one with the children.
Got you. So you knew, when did you decide though you wanted to do teaching versus social work?
Yes, I knew I wanted to be with children. I was bouncing back like child psychology, social work. Then I'm like, social work, let me try. Then I got a gist of what it was about. And I'm like, it's really with the parents and the family, and I want to be with the children. Okay. So
I see that. Like I said, just seeing you in here is like, I can tell you have just this love and care for children. That's dope.
Yes.
So what was that transition like? Because I'm sure that there's people listening that have an idea of something that they want to do, maybe education, maybe not. So how did you get into education after starting your degree, doing something else?
Started off as a teacher assistant.
So after the special ed school, then you said, I want to be teaching. So then you said, I'm going to go into a school and be a TA?
Yes, to get my foot in the door.
So to be a TA, you just applied? Like, what did they look for?
So in New York City, they had like a teaching assistant certification that we had to do, but I'm pretty sure it changed over the years. Now they just want you to have a bachelor's degree. But when I first, to be a teacher assistant.
In a bachelor's
That's one of the
degree,
requirements.
Just in any field at all? Or
geared towards with the school, because they accepted people and they also pay for tuition too. If you went to school for special education, if you were in psychology, if you were in speech, if you were in PT, OT, they were covering your tuition because they have all of those services inside of that school.
So you linked with the school first and then they helped pay your tuition to get your degree?
Yes, they did.
That's what's up.
Not for my associates, my bachelor's.
Okay, let them know. For the bachelor's.
For the bachelor's, yes.
I got you. So what's your bachelor's in now?
Psychology.
Oh, so you didn't even get a bachelor's in education?
No, I didn't. I want to take my master's in special education.
So how many years have you been teaching without having a teaching degree?
For about 8-9 years.
Oh, so what? All right. So it's not even necessary. Like, do you even need it?
Not in New York City. I mean, if you wanted to be...
apparently.
Yeah. But here, yes, I do want to get my certification out here in North Carolina.
Because you want it or because you feel like you need it?
Both.
Okay. Why?
It looks good on paper.
Is it just because it looks good?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a requirement. You can go other places with it, because I heard you could be an instructional coach too when you have your license.
Okay, true. So yeah, so you don't have your, I didn't know that. I thought you had an undergrad in education. So when you said, I want to be an educator, you said, boom, let me go ahead and get this degree in psychology. Mm-hmm. Okay, to get in the classroom.
Because at first I said child psychologist. Okay. That's what I was thinking about. Then I said, let me get into social work.
Okay. So obviously, clearly, there's somebody. So again, I'm always thinking about like who's watching the podcast. So somebody could be in college or leaving high school. Is like, I'm not sure what I want to do with life, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe I just choose this path. I start getting my associates here. If I decide later on I want to teach, I just need to get a bachelor's. Like, it doesn't even need to be in education. But what you did was become a TA, kind of work through the ranks, and then be given your own classroom eventually. But you're working on certification now.
Yes.
Like at night?
Yes.
Okay.
Online.
You can teach for 9 years without having your certification. But again, just as long as like you're showing progress towards it.
Yes. In New York City, they're a little bit more strict because they want you to be in undergrad school if you're like a teacher. Out here, it's not that strict. They just want you to be certified or licensed.
Or at least that you say that you would. I know that from the charter perspective, I know that we have to, people either are already licensed or committed to getting their license. And that would be like in your situation, you have to be enrolled in some sort of classes. I think it's like 4 classes you have to take. So you have to enroll in those classes. As long as you are showing progress towards licensure, we can still hire you as a teacher, showing that you're trying to get your license. Honestly, we can still hire
6 classes.
Oh, it's 6? I'm sorry. We actually I hire people that are not getting their license. It's just easier for those that are like trying to commit to this work.
Yes.
Yeah, long term. That's awesome. Okay, fire. So you were a TA for how long?
For about 7 years.
Dang. So this is kind of so this is your first non-preschool teaching job.
Yes.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for being here, what do you think is something that you wish you were taught before you became a classroom teacher?
Lesson planning. That's very important. Even if it's like a video, if it's someone modeling in front of you and you watching it and then you imitate them, I think doing mock trials.
So you felt like when you came into class, you didn't know how to lead a lesson?
Well, I know that lessons are, well, the standards are distributed to us, but then we have to like, you know, turn it to a lesson plan and incorporate that. And I think that it would have been helpful if, I guess, we had like somebody to model it first, instead of just saying like, oh, you know, here goes a lesson plan. Let's do this.
I feel like you're coming for me directly.
No.
Because I feel like that's what we did. Like when we hired you, gave you the template. It was like, here you go. But what were you like doing before you had a lesson plan template or framework?
Still giving a lesson plan. You mean like as a teacher assistant or like at another type of school?
As a teacher assistant.
We followed basically, there's a ratio in New York City. Sometimes the ratio is like 1 to 2 to maybe 12. So it's like the teacher assistant, how many teacher assistants and then how many students. So the ratio is a little different from out here in North Carolina. So we usually followed we're all like on the same page. The teacher assistants, the teachers, we're just doing it all together.
But you wish you would have been properly trained on how to do a lesson plan, like take the standard, break it down, and then deliver it to students. You had to figure that out on your own?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
With the help of other colleagues.
You do have a really strong team. I think that's awesome. That's why you didn't catch it earlier. I said you're one of the best first grade teachers we have, top 4, but we only have 4, so. But
I thought he meant top 4 in the school.
Top 4 in the first grade, just because I know people are gonna watch this. You know, I don't want to top 4. You are doing an awesome job, right? I just didn't want other people to be like, "Wow, you said she's the best first grade teacher." So I don't want that smoke. But I thought you were gonna say that you needed help with parent communication, because that's literally why we are shooting this episode.
Yes, it's like
no, don't fake it now.
No. Yes, communication, and to put your words together in a way that doesn't offend other parents or, you know, may not be sensitive to what they may understand or what you may say to them. So we can work through that, because that's literally, you asked me, listen y'all, like she asked me, she said, there's a couple of things that you can count on from Ms. Young every year. She is going to break 3 Chromebooks. Definitely gonna break at least 3 Chromebooks, and she's gonna ask me to help her with parent communication. So, true or false? How many Chromebooks? How many Chromebooks you had? Oh my God!
Exactly. All right. So
Yes.
she's gonna break 3 Chromebooks, and she's gonna come up to my office every couple of weeks and say, "Hey, a parent just sent me a message. Can you let me know how to respond?" So the last time you came to me, you're like, "You should really teach a master class on how to respond to parents."
I did say that. I definitely did say that.
So then I was like, yo, let's do it. Let me get the camera and let's teach a masterclass on how to respond to parents.
Very important. Very, very important.
All right, so let's do it. I want to go through that last situation, because when you asked me that, I was like, all right, because you asked me, other people probably have this same question. Like, how do I communicate with parents, especially new teachers? You know, coming out of college, not knowing exactly how to get their words out, or like you said, not offend people, be politically correct or whatever it is. So I sat back and asked myself, all right, how do I answer parents? And can I put that in a framework that I could teach somebody else? So let's get it. Before we get to the next point, I just have to let you know that my book, 99% Human, 1% Amazing, right now is free. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping and I'll get it directly to you. So check the link in the description below. If you're receiving value from this video, you'll probably love the book. So
this parent said, "Good morning, Miss Young." Prior, we were talking about a Valentine's Day party. Will the class have a Valentine's Day party? If so, is there a snack sheet? Also, I have a problem with student anonymous father.
Okay.
Who allegedly told his daughter he does not like Black people, and this message was relayed to my child. These kind of comments are hurtful to a child. Are we able to schedule a conference to include the other parent?
So she came to my office and she was like, "Mr. Williams, can you help me respond to this parent?" So I did. We'll get to in a second what the response ended up being. But when I was walking you through it, I was like, all right, so let me think how my brain goes. So here's the first thing. I came down with 5 A's because I like to try to remember things and I like alliteration. So,
okay.
5 A's. The first one is actively listen. The first A stands for actively listen. By actively listen, I mean, really think about, like, whether you're listening to it via phone or via text, really read through it and understand her main concern. Like his, whoever the parent is, their main concern for why they're reaching out. Because sometimes they'll try to bake it in fluff. Even this one, she started off, so are we still doing the Valentine's Day thing? By the way, my daughter was just, prejudiced against. So what was she really asking for? So when you think about it, when you read that, what do you think she was really trying to get at if you actively listen to what she wrote?
That her child and her were offended by what another student said.
Exactly. So you want to think about it think about it from the parent perspective. So she's saying, my child, she was, somebody said they don't like black people. Obviously, she is the mother of a black girl. So from her perspective, she's thinking like her daughter's coming in here every day and like people are being prejudiced against her. They're calling her out her name. They're calling her whatever, like making her not feel loved, cared for, supported, and valued. And like she's seeing that in her mind when she's reaching out to you. And sometimes we get a little bit defensive. Not saying you do, I'm talking about the general whole. Sometimes people get defensive because they feel like they're coming at me or they're coming at my job. Like, you don't think I take care of my kids? You don't think I watch my kids?
Yeah. And
that's not necessarily the case. It's just that they care about their child. So we first want to actively listen to see, all right, what's really the point of the reason why she's reaching out to me? That's why that's the first A. I like to think about it like this. So I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. My car, the AC went out, right? So I took it to the shop, this old janky shop. I took it to the shop and I parked it outside. He was like, leave it there, we'll get to it. I parked backwards. I took an Uber home. They called me and said it was done the next day. I took an Uber back over there and then I got there. The car was parked in the same spot, still backwards, like exactly where I left it. I went inside, I was like, is it finished? He was like, yeah. They charged me $350. I got in the car, turned it on, and it was blowing hot air. It was blowing hot air before I dropped it off, and it's still blowing hot air. So I just gave it a couple of seconds, and it was still blowing hot. Like the AC was still not working. So I turned it off and went back inside. I had already paid them. I went back inside, and I was like, it's not, like it's still blowing hot air. And he was like, yeah, we cleaned out the valve, but I guess that didn't work. So that wasn't the issue. And I was like, but you charged me $350 and the car is still, you know what I'm saying? Like the AC is still not working. He was like, yeah, but that was for labor and for the parts we had to use because we actually had to clean out the system. And I was like, all right, bro. So look at it from my perspective. I parked it here backwards yesterday. I left it with you for a day. I came back, it's in the same exact spot and it still has the same exact problem. It's like, I don't feel comfortable paying you because I feel like you didn't do anything while I was going. Like I'm in my brain, y'all let it sit there, you did nothing, and now you charge me $350. They could have like been working really hard. Like they could have really, really cleaned out the valves and it didn't work. But how like I still have the same problem. How you gonna charge me? So what do you think I did? Because you know me a little bit.
Well, for situations like that, I don't know. Maybe you wanted to read the itemized bill to see what they specifically charged for and then take it from there. But it sounds like you know what they charged you for.
I do know what they charged me for.
Because
they told me. And I demanded my money back and I refused to pay them, regardless of the itemized bill or anything. Because look at it from my perspective. I just told you, like, I can't verify that you did what you said you did. The air is still not working. So the fact that you told me I cleaned it out, but it didn't work, doesn't satisfy me as the customer.
Okay. Get it.
So I asked my money back and they did give me my money back and I took it somewhere else to get fixed. I'm saying all that to say, when parents, like I dropped off my car, I expected it to be taken care of. It wasn't taken care of. And when it wasn't taken care of, I was upset. And I had this image in my brain of what was going on while I wasn't there. Oh, they was just sitting there texting. They wasn't even paying attention. They weren't even working on my car. When it could be true that they actually were working really hard and they couldn't figure it out. But still, I can verify that. Parents are the same way. So she dropped off her kid in the morning expecting that it's going to be a great day. Her kid comes home and saying, yeah, this other girl said I can't sit next to her because she doesn't like black people. She now has the worst image in her brain because she wasn't there for those 8 hours. Like she's automatically thinking, yeah, kids are throwing stuff at her. They're treating her like Ruby Bridges. Like, like she's seeing the worst. So that's why she's going to reach out to you and be like, what are we doing about this? So that's kind of how we have to see things, not from our lens, Like, oh yeah, I know that she's good, or I know that it was happening. But from the parent lens, like, yo, what's going on in that school? So that's why you have to first actively listen to really what the problem is.
And then they probably, prior to that, they could have had some some knowledge that the school is predominantly Black. And they're like, well, my child was probably feeling out of place in a predominantly Black school. What is going on? So, but at that point I said, yeah, I need to speak to Mr. Williams. It was the last part, if you want to indulge in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get there in a second. So the first A was A for actively listen. The second A is approach empathetically. So A number 1 is actively listen. Mm-hmm. A number 2 is approach empathetically for the exact reason that I just shared. The parent is seeing it from a parent lens. And you want to approach empathetically, like showing them that you understand their pain and frustration. So thinking just about the situation that I just described with my car, like you have to be able to, again, see it from the consumer standpoint or see it from the customer standpoint. Like, okay, I get it. Like there's no way for him to verify that we cleaned his car. Like, he probably is upset. It's still blowing hot air. We just charged him $350. He didn't have his car for a day. He had to Uber back and forth. Like you have to see all this stuff from my perspective. It's like, you still gonna charge me $350? My car still doesn't work. So see the whole thing from the parent perspective and approach empathetically. That's the first way you want to start off your message. Okay. So after you actively listen to the real problem, then approach in an empathetic way. I understand how this is frustrating. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that happened to you. I get like approach empathetically, understanding where the parent's coming from. So third A, we rolling through them now. Mm-hmm. After you approach empathetically, then you want to address the problem. Actively listen, approach empathetically, address the problem. When I'm listening to that, the problem that she had was that her child was being negatively spoken to and nothing was done about it. Like that's what I heard. So we need to now address that problem. So we'll address that problem by letting her know we don't accept that here and something's gonna be done about it. That's how you directly address the problem. Think about like, what is her concern and directly address that thing. So then address the actual problem. And then she asks about meeting up with the father of the other kid. And we can't do that. Like that's not.
Yeah, that was a concern for safety issues.
Yeah. And as a school, that's not our job to arrange for that meeting here on campus. Like, no. So then the next thing I would say is the next A would be to answer the questions. If they ask any questions, then you want to go ahead and answer them. These 5 A's don't necessarily have to be done in order. I would say the first 2 for sure. Like you definitely want to.
I agree.
Yeah, actively listen and then start off approaching empathetically. Now the rest of these you can kind of however it fits, but yeah, answer the question. So the question was, can I meet with dad? Da, 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 da? Like whatever the question was, sometimes you gotta just answer that thing and address it. And then the last one, this is my favorite one. The last one, the last A, is anticipate the response.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What do you say you have to know the parent? Or past experiences?
I don't think so, because I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that, but I don't think you necessarily need to know the parent. I think you need to know the situation. Again, just think about it. This is somebody who loves this child who is in my care. So after you say, man, I understand how frustrating this is, you know, and then after you address the problem and say, this is not something that's allowed, we're definitely gonna take care of it. Anticipate what the next problem may be. Her next question. Her next question or her next response would be like, who's taking care of it? How are you taking care of it? How's it being taken care of? Like, these are now questions that she could potentially respond with. So anticipate the response and address it before she has a chance to. Meaning, for you, I would say something like, if it's something that's out of your hands, I would say something like, I'm turning this over to administration. I would include that because now I'm anticipating. If I say this is not tolerated in school, we're gonna take care of it. As a parent, now my next question is, how? How are you taking care of it? What's gonna happen? So anticipate that and address it before they get to ask it.
And then sometimes parents may say, what is being done to the other child?
Yeah, they say that a lot.
A lot.
They say that a lot.
A lot. And I'm like, oh goodness, this is.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you don't need to know the particular parent. You just have to know parents in general. So anticipating that response, one of the things that I do, and you know I deal with parents all the time as an administrator, one of the things that I do, knowing that they get to ask that question, I just always say, per the code of conduct, I can't share what we did with the other student, but it's aligned, the consequences aligned to the code of conduct. Because I know they're gonna ask that question. So we're gonna read your response in a second, but my responses are always something just like that. So it'll say, today your child was involved in an incident. They were hit by another student on the playground. We don't take this lightly. This is something very seriously. This is something very serious. The other student was dealt with according to the code of conduct. Like I'll put that in there so I know they're gonna ask, what'd you do with the other student? You know? And so I'll put that in there before they get a chance to ask me. If you have any questions, let me know. Like that's how I'll send them.
Nice. To address something before it's asked.
Yeah, anticipate the response and address it before it's asked. All right, so the 5 A's, and then we're gonna read the response and see how we did. The 5 A's, I would say, actively listen.
Right.
See what that parent actually was writing you that message for.
Approach with empathy.
Okay.
I think that's very important because I think that's how the first response should have some type of empathy in it. Address the problem is the third one. Answer the questions is the fourth one. And anticipate the response is the last one.
That's our 5 A's. So now, what did I tell you to say to that parent when you came up and you were, Mr. Williams, I don't know what to say to this parent in my office? What did I tell you to say?
I said, as for your other message, I was not aware about this.
Okay.
I'm just going to turn it over to administration and they will reach out with next step.
Boom.
That is not tolerated in school. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
See? So now we match that against the A's. Yeah, you actively listened. You knew what was the problem. You approached it empathetically. You addressed all those things. You let them know we're not doing this in school. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. It's not tolerated. Like that suggests that had I have known, I would have dealt with it. But obviously it's showing like I didn't know that this was going on, but we're taking care of it now. And then you anticipated a response when she was like, so what are we doing about it? You said I handed it over to administration and they'll reach out with next steps. All right, so that was it. It was her, did she respond to you?
No.
Which is perfect. So what I did then, after I told you to send that, I went up to my office. I was looking for the message, but it's deep in there. But I said, hey, I just spoke with Ms. Young and she let me know about the situation with your daughter. We're working on it. I'll give you a call before the end of the day.
That was unwrappily right after I left his office.
Yeah. So following kind of the same 4 A's. All right. So I think that is a framework that I use. And that's the framework that has been super successful in communicating with parents. I don't get a lot of parent complaints, honestly, when I'm using like this framework. I don't get a lot of complaints from parents about not communicating well. And I think it's because I address their needs, like using these 5 A's. Okay.
Addressing the needs and concerns, very important.
Yeah. All right. You think you could do it yourself?
Yeah. If I, look this over and like just remember what's important to say, take your time in responding.
Okay.
That's another thing.
True. Gotta add another A. But sometimes, no, that's real though. But sometimes like take your time and you don't have to respond immediately, especially if you don't know what to say. Take your time to think through what to say. Ask somebody else, like again, what you do so great of. Like if you need to ask another teacher, ask somebody else on your team, like, how would you respond to this? That's awesome as well.
Maybe you could throw in awareness, attention of how you respond. I don't know.
Ooh, awareness of your tone. Actually, I like that.
And choice of words.
We might have to make 6 A's.
Choice of words.
That starts with a C though.
And
but for real, do also be aware of your tone when you're responding, because again, sometimes you can feel like they're attacking you and you don't want to respond as if you are defending yourself or as if you're sharp. Like, don't come at me like that. Like, I'll come at you that way too. But be aware of your tone and just respond.
Yeah, and I also think it's important to add a higher authority in it, because if you respond a certain way, then they are like ready to retaliate with a response because you're not responding or doing anything to their liking.
That's true. So you also have to know when it's something out of your control, which is crazy. I see a lot of people do that. They take on too much. And I don't know if some people have unsupportive administration where they feel like they can't turn it over to administrators, or they're hurt by past administration. They feel like they can't turn it over to administrators. But there's a lot of situations that I find that people, they took it under their own, I won't say jurisdiction, but like they try to take the lead and do everything themselves, and like them and parents are going back and forth, and it really is something that should have been turned over a long time ago, and we would have handled it. So no one is out of your control. No one should be handed to, would you say, a higher authority?
Yes.
No one
out
is
of the teacher's hands.
Yeah, no one is out of your hands. Like, even like something like this, they want to set up a communication between the parents. That's not on you. Turn it over to us. We'll take care of that. All right, let's do one.
Yes, and we don't condone confrontations at schools.
Okay, let's do one. Parent says, Miss Young, today, Joel came home upset. When I asked him what was wrong, he said that his classmate, Nael, hit him in the cheek during recess. If my child was assaulted at school, why was I not notified?
The first thing that comes to my mind is like, okay, did this student tell me? Am I aware? See, that A word. Am I aware that this happened? Because for me I have to be aware first so I can relay that message to the parent.
Okay, so let me ask you this, based on what was written there. If you knew that the child was hit in the cheek, would you have let the parents know?
Yes, but first I would like to assess the situation with the students, both of them.
You're going 5 layers deep. All right. So what I was saying is, because the parent messaged this to you without you having reached out to her, that means that you didn't reach out to her. So we're gonna go use this assumption that you did not know. I'm just gonna say it like that. We're assuming that you didn't know what happened. Because I'm assuming that knowing you, if you would have known it happened, you would have let mom know. Mm-hmm. All right, so because she's writing this, that means you had no idea it happened. Okay, all right, go with that assumption.
She wants to know if her child was in some type of danger. Is such a strong word.
But it's real, because again, that's what parents are seeing. She's thinking he's getting slapped in the face and beat on the field. Like, that's what she's seeing in her brain. So yeah, she wants to know if her child is some sort of danger.
Okay, if her child was ridiculed, she wants to know assaulted. Makes me think like, okay, now they think like, this child was ridiculed and nothing was done about it. Yeah. And why didn't you bring it to my attention?
Exactly. All right, those are 2 things I heard too. So you got it. You're on the right path. So I hear that she's thinking my child is getting beat up at school, so he's not safe. And she's thinking stuff is happening and I don't know about it. So those are 2 things we need to address.
Hi, Ms. Williams. I was not aware that this happened. However,
okay. Did you approach with empathy? Was that?
I'm getting there. The second sentence. However, I understand.
In the second sentence. So slide that to the front. Did you just freeze just now?
No, because it's like if you say like, okay, I understand. Okay, however, I wasn't aware. Okay.
See what I'm saying? Okay. That's different. So you were about to say, I wasn't aware this happened. So you're coming defensively, like, don't come at me like that. Like, I didn't even know.
Wow. Right? You're good. You're great. You're great. You're right. You're right. Because it's like you're in combat mode. It's like, okay, this parent is, let me get ready for like, to be combative. Okay.
Right, so switch them up. Let's start with the empathy.
Hi, Miss Williams. I understand that you may be frustrated about the situation. Okay. However, it wasn't brought to my attention. Now, can I add the child or just say, period, it wasn't brought to my attention?
You can put a period there.
Okay, period. That type of behavior is not tolerated in school.
Okay.
But I will have a discussion with admin so we can solve this problem.
All right.
They will reach out to you soon.
Okay. I don't know if this one was an admin thing, though. If a kid got hit in your class. It might be. It depends on the school. Maybe, perhaps. But I think that was great. Honestly, I think that was good.
Okay.
7.6 out of 10. I think that was good. Okay, but finish it up. Did you anticipate any of the response that she would give? Like, if you leave it right there.
Yes, I did answer her question. Her question was, if my child was assaulted at school, why was I not notified? Mm-hmm. I let her know that I wasn't aware. Mm-hmm. So she's saying if my child was assaulted, I didn't even know. And then she said, why was I not notified?
Mm-hmm. And then you and you tell that admin will.
So, that answers both of her questions. If my child was assaulted at school, and why was I not notified? If my child was assaulted at school, she's making a statement that something happened to her child. And then she said, why was I not notified?
So good. I think what would strengthen that, the only other thing that would strengthen that would to elaborate a little bit on what you would do if you knew that it happened. That's the only thing I heard missing. That would have been a 10 out of 10. So You started with empathy. You said, I understand that this can be frustrating. However, I didn't know that would happen. This behavior is not tolerated at school. Had I have known, I promise I would have addressed it and let you know. Like I would have put that there.
Okay, that's like giving comfort.
Yeah.
Giving them comfort and security.
Yep. And then you can say, now we'll invest it. We'll look into it with admin, and they'll reach out to you with the response. Boom. Like that. That one little piece you missed. But other than that,
now what if the parents like, well, so what happened? What was the outcome?
Well, at that point, you already turned it over to administration. So they should.
Oh, okay. You said
they should further. If you wanted to strengthen up a little bit, you could say Mr. Williams will reach back out to you. His email address is dwilliams@da-da-da-da. Right? If you wanted to strengthen it in that first initial response, just to really take that off of you and say like, so they're not expecting a response from you. Like I turned it over to admin. Admin's gonna take it from here.
And that's exactly what happened in this real experience.
In that real experience,
they didn't answer me. They didn't respond back to me because I guess everything was answered.
Yeah, because I spoke to her a couple of minutes after. So, yeah, so that's it. All right, let's try one more. Come on, you got it. You're here. You got it.
Okay.
I want to know how Niall keeps leaving her jacket on the field. I spend too much money on her clothes for her to be leaving them at school. Period.
Oh, this is so familiar. so familiar.
That's it. She didn't ask no questions or anything. That's just that's what they wrote.
Now I'm reading it because they will send a message and I will have to read it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them all the time. So how would you respond to that?
What I hear and understand is that she doesn't like the fact that her child's leaving the jacket that she paid a lot of money for.
Boom. So that's what we're going to address.
Hi, Ms. Williams. I understand your frustration. Then I will want to say, I can have Niall look inside the lost and found and have a discussion with her. Having a discussion with her on being responsible of her belongings.
Okay. What do you think is wrong with that? Because you seem like you didn't want to say that.
Because then it's like saying, oh, you're going to give the child accountability on her things. But it's like, if that was the case, then maybe the parent wouldn't have expressed it to me. Maybe she just would have told her child, like, listen, I need you to be mindful of your jacket. And this is what you have to do so you won't forget it or, misplace it. Because I had parents tell me like, oh, no, Miss Young, you don't have to say anything to that child. I want my child to be accountable and responsible for their belongings. They need to learn how to, when they leave their jacket on the ground or on the fence, they need to go get it. Yeah. They need to be responsible of their belongings. Because maybe they felt like if they leave it up to the teacher and the teacher has 21 other students to worry about, then something may go wrong.
Got you. And all that is real. So then I like what you said, and I also want you to be authentic in your response and be real. Do you, Miss Young, want to build capacity for students to remember and be accountable for their own jackets? Like, is that a goal that you have?
Yes, then it will lead to me making a big announcement to the classroom.
Why are you only dealing with one student right now?
Oh, because sometimes I don't like to get on one person about something when they all can benefit from an announcement that I have to say.
And that is true. So I'm not saying, so both of those are good options. You can talk to the student one-on-one, or you can address the whole class without pointing out the specific student, like, hey, you especially. But I feel like we're getting too deep. We left the question. Like, you always do that.
Okay.
You always do that. Bring it back. Bring it on back. So I can understand how frustrating this could be. So you, as Miss Young, what would you then next say to address that problem? Her daughter's leaving stuff on the field.
I can have Niall check the lost and found and have a discussion about being responsible in our belongings.
Okay, boom, leave that right there. I have no problems with that. That's good. Why? It addresses the problem. The problem is it's consistently left on the field. You solved it in one sentence. You're gonna check the lost and found to make sure she gets that jacket back, and you're gonna make sure that it doesn't happen again. That's perfect. You addressed that question. Good job. So now, anticipate her response. Like, could she say anything else? Like, what else?
Okay, good. Thank you for saying that. She can say, now, what if she doesn't find a lost and found? What happens then? Or if it's not found, how is it going to be replaced?
Both of those are good. She really would say something like that. So which one do you want to tackle?
Hoping that she finds it in the lost and found. Because we wouldn't be able to if we were to replace, then we...
Too deep.
Okay.
You go too far. I saw you running away.
Okay. You're right.
So I'm with you. Stick with the lost and found thing. Anticipate her response to be, what if she doesn't find it in the lost and found? How could you kill that before she has a chance to ask it? Like, how could you give her that comfort, like you were saying, or that assurance before she has a chance to ask that question?
The school's protocol, maybe? We can say, usually when items are found on the field, they are placed inside of the lost and found by the end of the day. So if she doesn't find it to be...
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
If she doesn't find it at that moment, then maybe the next morning, it may be in there.
There you go. So that addresses if she like, all right, so, because remember, the two things that she was thinking about, one of the things that she was thinking about is the clothes are expensive. She's thinking, I'm losing this, I'm wasting money. So you're assuring her that, hey, so I'm gonna let her look in the lost and found. If she doesn't see it the first time, sometimes it takes the whole school day for them to bring stuff from the field. So I'll check with her again in the afternoon to make sure we get it for you. Something like that. Or, well, I'll do my best. I'll go with her. I'll walk the field with her until we find, like something like that. But give her that assurance that, no, we're actually looking for this thing.
And then also, too, I forgot to mention, parents may also say, how come my child can't retrieve it at that moment?
I'll go get it right now?
Yeah.
They do that. I would address lightly with what I just said, like I'll walk the field with her, because we know the reason why she can't go get it at the moment right now is because she's 6 and we're not going to send her outside.
And we're back inside the classroom.
Right. So that's why by saying I'll go look for it with her, or I'll check the lost and found with her, like that communicates that she's being supervised while she's looking for it. And obviously you're not going to address every question, because they still might come back and be like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Just hit them with the 5 A's again. Like, you're not going to be able to address every potential response, but just the next time you respond, go through the 5 A's again. So, do you remember your response? Can you say it in one statement?
Hi, Ms. Williams. I understand your frustration. I will have Nayel check the lost and found for her jacket. If she doesn't find it at the moment, then maybe it will be placed there in the morning.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. That works. It addressed all the issues and it addressed any future responses.
Oh, I forgot the discussion part.
I was just about to say
that. And I will have a discussion with her about her belongings.
Boom. And yeah. And that was the thing I was about to point out. That makes it a 10 out of 10 response.
Okay.
Boom. Got it.
Yay!
So that would then, again, for most parents, satisfy, but some people will respond. Again, hit them with the 5 A's again and keep it rolling. But I will, at this time, I'll say, like, I wouldn't go back and forth more than 3 times without picking up the phone or doing something different. Like, I wouldn't go text message. No, like, at some point, because like you said, it's hard to communicate tone via text and things get lost in translation. I would say if there's been 3 messages communicated, all right, I'm just either gonna call this parent or I'm gonna let it breathe. I'm gonna bring in administration. I'm gonna do something. But after 3, it's like, we're not going forever.
Yeah.
There's a miscommunication here. We're not solving this. Cool.
Yeah.
How you feel?
I want another one.
Oh my God. First of all, my battery's about to die. But I don't have another one. I mean, I could, but I think you did a good job. Well, we can still practice off camera. Mm-hmm. Like, we're here all year. We can practice this. But I would review this, make sure you got it. You're gonna get another question. And the next time you come to my office, like either with your broken laptop or you saying, Mr. Williams, can you please help me? I'm gonna say where the 5 A's at and let's get started. All right.
Right here in my notebook.
Right here in your notebook. I always like to ask one question before we disconnect. You've been in the game for a while. Mm-hmm. But what would you say to your first year teacher self?
I like those questions. What would I say to my first year teacher self? I would say when it comes to teaching, try to fit in structure, organizational skills, creativity. And there will always be room for improvement.
That's a fact. Well, again, you've been doing a fantastic job here. Like, again, anytime I come in the room, it's a fantastic place to be. I'm gonna help you put this all back, I promise. but I really appreciate it. But I just want to let you know that with the parent communication thing, I know sometimes it can be hard to remember, but don't stress about it. It's in there. You got this, and I've got you. All right?
Yes.
Rock and rolling.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.